Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the ReLaunch Real Estate Podcast. This is episode 19, and very excited to have Robert Sagers with Sierra Interactive with us. Robert is with Sierra Interactive. Like I said, Sierra Interactive is our CRM and website platform. So without further ado, I'd love to have Robert just, if you want to introduce yourself, man, and tell us where you are and everything about you.
Everything about me.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, it's good to be with you. Again, Robert Sagers. I'm the product manager at Sierra Interactive. I've been here for about 3.5 years now. Sierra is headquartered in Louisville, and when I started at Sierra, that's where I was too. I now live out on the Oregon coast. My family and I made a COVID move last summer, something we'd been planning pre-COVID, but we're excited to be out here. So work remotely from out here on the Oregon coast. I started at Sierra as the first fully dedicated support person. Company was growing and I was a platform expert, especially in those early days. That title was 100% half right. Certainly knew the platform that it was a thing, was no expert. Have grown in my knowledge of both the platform and the industry, of course, having not been in real estate before. I'm originally from out here in Oregon. After college, I came out to Kentucky for seminary, and I went into the tech world in the 2010s and started with Sierra. I've been here, like I said, for 3.5 years, and I really enjoy it. This industry is very interesting. The company is growing, and I'm very proud about the culture that we've built at Sierra, the product that we're building at Sierra, the team that we're building at Sierra, and the clients. The growing number of clients that we have as well.
Mm-hmm. What's your title there now?
Product manager.
Product manager.
My role at Sierra is in many ways conversing with our clients to learn about the kinds of things that they would love for us to build, ways that we can make existing features better, talking with our designers about how to craft a solution that would be best suited for our clients' needs, working with the developers through the development process, and then also being on that backside of the rollout process to our clients. I'm pretty involved in that as well. I like to get in the mix as much as I can.
Yeah.
At various levels in the company.
You bring everybody together.
In some ways, yes. And it's very exciting. It's a very collaborative. What we do on our product team, we're super collaborative. We work with other people within the team, both designers and developers, but also the support team. I meet weekly with our support team to find out what kinds of things that they're hearing each week and talk to them about some of the things that are coming, and we find solutions in that way. But then with our clients, constant communication. We have a pretty active client mastermind group in Facebook, and so talking there and just talking with our partners consistently, just try and keep a pulse on what's going on, what we can be doing to innovate, what we can be doing to adapt. And yeah, it's very much in the mix and very collaborative for sure.
I remember 3 years ago, that was when I was really working hard on our website. I would call a lot and you answered almost every time. Yeah. Hey, Patrick. Hey, you're calling again.
Hopefully I didn't take that tone. But yeah, it was. There was a gentleman by the name of Rick Deerbeck who's been with Sierra for I think 8 years, and he is a project manager, and he was filling in that time doing support. So it was mostly Rick and myself and Ben, our CEO, would be pretty much handling support at that time. And it's nice because Ben is a very client-focused person. He has been in support himself, now very product-oriented, and is a fantastic boss. But yeah, it was pretty much, if you called, it was probably Rick or myself answering most times.
And I remember 5 years ago when I wanted to launch my site, when I called, I talked to Ben and Ryan White. And now who have really expanded roles at the company. It's just been awesome to see you guys grow. And the reason you're growing is because you have an amazing platform product, and your support is incredible. So
yeah, thanks for saying that. Yeah, our customer success team. So Joyce Wells, our customer success manager, she joined our team a little over a year ago, and she's done a really great job leading that team. And we have a very good team of platform experts and customer success advocates. We've built out some of the onboarding teams. They all kind of fit mostly under the umbrella of customer success. And I mean, it's been a big focus of ours. It's a big focus of our company, is providing real life active support that's actually helpful, can help you find answers. So really proud of the various members of our team and what they provide.
We love it. We love it. We love it. We'd recommend it. Let's jump into some stuff that can help some agents. So we have folks listening to this podcast who are team leaders. We have folks that are listening to this podcast that are solo agents, that are independent, whether they own their own brokerage or they're inside of another brokerage. It's just them. And so, as you know, you and I both like to, help people and provide value. Sierra, just again, 10,000 foot view, Sierra Interactive provides a front-facing website with a really robust CRM in the back. And so you're very knowledgeable about that. And so let's talk about systems and tools, not even necessarily Sierra Interactive, but just systems and tools that could help agents. So my first question would be exactly that. What systems, tools, and even techniques have you heard from agents that you talk to that are best at converting leads? And when I say leads, I'm just talking about online purchase leads.
Yeah. Well, one isn't necessarily a system or a tool, and I'm not sure it'd be a technique. It's more of a characteristic, and that is curiosity. Mm-hmm. I think one of the the most important aspects from my vantage point where I sit, one of the most important aspects of a successful real estate agent, and I mean truly successful, not I got wins like today or this last month, but I'm going to keep getting wins and continue to succeed, is curiosity. And I think that exists at a few different levels. One is curiosity about what other people are doing that makes them successful. And what I don't mean is parroting, right? And just, I'm going to take this now and make it, I'm going to do the same thing and I will have the same success. Well, you're not the same person as them and you don't need to be, but having a curiosity about what it is that other people are doing. So you're kind of in the mix with other clients. I mentioned our active client Facebook group, people asking questions, watching webinars, finding out about new features, finding out about what's going on in the industry and truly knowing it, right? And being able to be adaptable. And the curiosity also takes place, I think, at a level of interacting with leads. Mm-hmm. So really getting to know people as people. You and I both have a common connection with somebody who really emphasizes treating leads, not as leads, but as people. These are real people. And having an understanding of, in your communications and in your management, right? You're actually building a relationship with someone. It's a CRM, a customer relationship manager. When you're building that relationship, sometimes that does take time because it takes curiosity, really understanding someone's situation. And that's where it will come back. I'm talking about long-term success around having an actual relationship that somebody comes back and refers people to you, wants to work with you again in a few years. So it's worth that investment up front to actually build relationships, and that takes curiosity. Beyond that, I think there are some systems that some people do. I can speak for our company. We have a couple of really key partners. GGMS and Hatch Coaching are a couple of our most central partners. Both of those companies do provide essentially a lead management system and assets. And what's really nice about what you can do with Sierra is that you can connect to that partner and you can import their action plans, their smart filters, their contact templates, and their various ways that they would have you manage leads. And so it goes back to the curiosity, kind of asking and seeing what might reflect, be best for you and your business. I know that a lot of folks find success with our partners. And then various other services too that I would speak to. It's not just Sierra. I mean, what's nice about Sierra is that you get a really nice value of a front-end website, back-end CRM, as you mentioned, Patrick, and the vast majority of our clients have that package. We do have a CRM only product. The vast majority of our clients have both. The value to be able to kind of bring both together is pretty significant. And that front-end website and that back-end CRM, you've got all kinds of tools within Sierra to, if you want to work on SEO, for example, and build out your content pages, your community pages, your blog posts, you can do that. If you're more focused on generating paid leads, you can do that. And I think that's another item about a successful real estate agent is somebody who's willing to invest some money in generating leads. And so I can just speak for Sierra that part of what you get is that total package is we can manage Google Ads campaigns for you as a part of your monthly fee. So up to $2,000 a month spend as of right now is just included, right? So you can generate those leads. Our team's really good at it. We give you transparent reporting. So I think being willing to invest some money is important. Being curious about what folks are doing, being curious about your leads is important. Having a sense of when you need to take some time to invest in maybe a partner that could help you. If you're not in a place where you're wanting to build up some of those things for yourself, which you can certainly do. And then learning about some tools beyond Sierra, at least for our clients. Like a lot of our clients find really good success with HomeBot. A lot of our clients find really good success with Structurally, which is like an AI chatbot that helps with lead follow-up. One of our clients says that's one of the most important aspects of their entire business is Structurally, so you can check them out. We've got a ton of integrations, direct API, but then a ton of email parsers. So clients who will utilize third-party services like a listing to leads or something like this, you can bring those folks into Sierra, route them in any number of sophisticated ways with our lead routing. And then a lot of our clients find really good success with a service called Zapier. And Zapier is not a real estate technology product per se. It's simply a product that connects one or more services together related to real estate tech or not. And it's a fairly low, there's a free version, fairly low monthly fee, I think, to be able to do some more advanced stuff. A lot of our clients find really, really good success with Zapier because they're finding success with automation. So kind of going back to that like curiosity thing, Patrick, and actually treating people as people. Sometimes I see this, sometimes speaking for myself, it seems like a little bit of a bent toward, I want to automate everything and I don't really want to have to do anything, right? Just tell me how to set up the system, what money I have to pay, and then I want to, wind the clock and step back and let it run out. And that's not going to work, right? It may work for a time. It may unearth some opportunities for you. You may get some quick wins or, big wins or whatever. But the long game of it is that you may just automate yourself out of a job and you're not necessarily going to have a lot of people coming back to work with you again. So I don't think it's going to bring a lot of long-term success, but there is real value in automation. And one of the real values in the automation is that it can bring visibility to high intent leads and the opportunities that are most important right now. And so I think a lot of our clients have found some good success with some of these services that help them do just that. And that's something that I can speak for our company, Sierra. We're really focused on continuing to build out our product in such a way that it not only unearths the opportunities for you that you may not be aware of, kind of hidden in your database, making them unhidden, right? Like unburying those things that you may not pay attention to, but also continuing to build out the product in such a way that those opportunities will be followed up with in an automated fashion, at least for a time, right? Until it's time for you to start putting your skills and your personality and disposition and real lifeness to the relationship with that lead.
Yeah, and so like wrapping up exactly what you just said is it's like you have to flip two switches if you want to expand in lead conversion. And the first switch is the easy one, right? So you switch that on and you can engage a company such as yourself to, you have to pay for it, you have to invest, like you said, but engage a company such as yourself to not only provide the leads, but also filter which one's most important, which one has the most activity, and can also automate follow-up. But in order for that, most of these to pan out, the next switch you have to hit, the first one said easy and the second one said hard. And the hard part is being truly curious.
Right.
And I love that you said curiosity because that's what we teach here too. And we have that common friend that we talk about who really does believe in this as well. And that takes time and takes a ton of effort. And it also, it's not natural for a lot of real estate agents. They do exactly what you mentioned and they get into parenting mode, especially the more they sell, right? So they want to just, okay, I've got this lead, they're engaging with me. I'm going to just say, hey, these are the steps that you got to take, and then let's go get it done. And they're not curious what their real estate situation is, their timeline, or any of those things. You hit a ton of really good stuff there in the first question. That's beautiful.
If you treat people as transactions, I don't think you're going to be ultimately successful. I mean, you will be successful for a time.
Yeah.
That's my sense of it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, to have ultimate success, it's just a reminder that this is a service industry. I mean, Patrick, you've told me a little bit about like what you did before real estate, and all of those, the three things you told me, including real estate, they're service oriented. And
Sure.
to me, that reflects that you are a service oriented person, right?
Sure.
You are helping someone, you are helping walk someone through one of one of the biggest experiences in their entire lives frequently, right? I mean, sometimes you might be working with real estate investors and various, people who are making financial decisions, and they have the money in hand to be able to, buy and sell. Most people, I'd say, are not like that, right? Most people are talking about, pulling out a mortgage, right? They've got to borrow to purchase. They're thinking about, they are thinking about a return on investment, but they're also thinking about, which bedroom for my kids, right? I mean, there's a real emotional component to this. It's not just financial. And I think that's where it comes back to the relationship, that there is this real lifeness to the people that you're working with that would be good for all of us, whether in real estate or not, just to understand different life situations for people, empathy, understanding where they're at, what's brought them to where they are, what are their goals and dreams, not as I'm going to do this to be able to get a commission. I mean, that's part of it, right? This is a job, like we're all working, but also I want to help you. I want to help you in your life. And I think that if you can focus on that too, in addition to all the other things, then I think ultimately you will be successful.
Absolutely. I learned from a broker friend in Atlanta that there's 3 types of people, and it's split up in 10%, 10%, and 80%.
Okay.
And 10% of folks will spend the most they'll spend the most they can on something, just because of the idea that it's the most expensive.
They always get the top line, biggest iPhone. Okay.
Yeah. Then you have the 10% of people that are transactional, just like the first 10, that will only spend the cheapest, right? So they're not going to spend, they're going to find the absolute cheapest option.
I will not give the counter example to that.
Okay. I've got an Android here, so I got to be careful. And then 80% are emotional, like you just said. Like they're going to engage in people who treat them like people and really understand what they're looking for. And so you're exactly right. There are brokerages out there that can kill that 10%, and they'll dominate that 10% because it's just transactional. But
those 10 and 10 also have an emotional component, right? They're not sociopathic or completely removed from having emotion, probably, but they're tying their emotion in a different way, right? Maybe they are concerned about not spending a ton of money because they're scared of losing, and there's a scarcity mentality, right? But that's a fear, and fear is emotion. That's not always the case, right? But it's good to at least be aware of that. And I'm curious with that 80%, you said emotional, like how are they're just wanting to look for the best fit and how somebody could help them.
Exactly. Yeah. Who's going to accomplish their goals, and who's going to understand what they want, and hear them out. Absolutely. We find that 80% of people are usually willing to work with us, regardless of what we're charging in regards to selling homes, listing homes, so long as we understand their goals and what they're trying to accomplish, and we help them get there, get full picture. And same with buy side. So if people, as you know, when people engage on a website like something Sierra Interactive produces, they're probably also on 3 or 4 other ones too.
Sure.
And it's whoever picks up that phone and really engages with them is the person who's gonna win that relationship.
Well, we're seeing that right now with one of the hot kind of issues in our world right now is Google local services.
Yep.
And that it's not new. It's not new. Like Google local services isn't new. But for a lot of real estate agents, it's a big flavor of the quarter, if you will, not necessarily flavor of the month, but it's hot right now, and people are very interested in it. And from what I hear, those leads that are making those phone calls via, to a Google screened agent, they are ready to go.
Yeah.
And you got to answer the phone. And I think just having that ability to answer the phone and talk with someone and hear them out is going to pay off, right, with this particular, product or way of generating leads, but it's also going to pay off in various other ways as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. Let's go to the next question. What do you think is important in a real estate website? Let's talk about agent first. So like if there's just a solo agent out there who wants to make a website for themselves to generate leads and be informational, what do you think is important in a website?
Well, it does depend on your ultimate goals. I mean, I think a number of our clients that we see, our platform has been and is very well crafted for SEO. So anybody who is interested in search engine optimization, that is getting your site to display high when somebody does a Google search for, real estate or any number of other things, maybe neighborhoods, you can do that with Sierra. So I think one is just to know, is your goal to be able to generate leads, by paying for them, running Google ads or some other way, or is it to attract them organically is what it's called. Which one? Well, it might be both, or it might be one or the other, but either way, you've got to have a website that people actually want to be on. So is the website attractive? Is this something that somebody is going to want to visit and stay on? Does it have the latest listings from the MLS? Is it accurate? Is it updating frequently? So we update new listings from our MLSs every 15 minutes, update all listings every hour. Frequently, most frequently is the case. And sometimes there's issues or something, it might be with our site or with the MLS, but it makes it a little bit slower. But generally speaking, every 15 minutes, new listings, every hour, all listings. So are the properties accurate? Are they going to find on your site the same properties that they're going to find elsewhere? Number three, are you able to basically make the site your own? And what I mean by that is not necessarily you've got to invest a ton of time with SEO, although you can, but can you build out content pages? Can you write about different communities? Can you upload, listings that are coming soon that you're aware of? If that's something you can do in your area, depending on your MLS restrictions and various things, regulations. But can you post things that would make your site unique? And is there going to be a way that you're going to be able to capture those leads? Can you determine, like, based on if somebody's a paid lead or not, like how many properties can they view before you slap that registration on there? You want to look at more? Great. Like, go ahead and register. I can help you. And when you do that, when those leads do come in and you capture them, so does your site actually convert? Does it actually get those people to fill out that registration? Is there a way that you can route them in a sophisticated way? Going back to some of the automations that are helpful, can you auto apply plans to them? Can you auto apply a listing alert to them before you go in maybe and customize some of those things? And Sierra does provide all those things, but that's the kind of thing that I would be looking for in a site. I think that's important. SEO or paid, does that give you that kind of thing? Can you build it out and customize it for yourself? Is it attractive? Will it keep people on the site? Is it constantly updating listings? And does it convert?
Yeah.
You can have all those things. Like, you could have all kinds of lurkers, right? You could have people who are just, checking out sites, but if they never actually register with you, then it's not necessarily going to be great for you.
Yeah,
right?
It has to be some kind of call to action.
Yeah, you are wanting to generate leads, right?
Yeah.
You're wanting these people you're wanting to work with them, right? So those are some of the things I would look for.
Okay, man, that's great. You guys have to, and I might be wrong, but in talking to your developers or something, you probably have like a handful, 10, 20 sites that you guys just know are really successful.
Yeah.
What are the characteristics of those really successful ones? Like, what do you see over and over again? Any pattern?
Curation, folks who are very aware of what they're putting up on their site. They are constantly I've got one in particular in mind, and if you Google homes for sale in Louisville, Kentucky, you will see it. And this is a client who has invested years of constantly and daily adding blog posts, and they're not just I'm putting content up. They're like actually interesting things, like weekend events in Louisville, or places you can go with kids when it's hot, and various other things that people would find of interest. So it's attracting people to the site, it's keeping them on the site, and it's things that are interesting. Beyond that, I think there's various things that people do get into sometimes, but mostly just being aware of their site.
Yeah.
And like, do you have glaring typos? Don't do that, right? Actually, pay a little bit of attention and grab a Grammarly plugin or something if you need to, if spelling isn't necessarily your thing, and that's okay. Right. But do spend some, whatever it takes to kind of make sure that your site is attractive, right? And you're willing to kind of spend a little bit of time making sure that things are buttoned up, and post frequently to it. Beyond that, we do have a number of clients who work with one of our partners. Her name is Cherie Young, and they'll customize their homepage basically. To make it a little bit different. We have a number of clients who have found really good success with that. But there's any number of ways within Sierra, within the content management system. You can either kind of let our team provide you with the default content pages and the various things that the colors, the image, the various things are kind of you can use to make it your own. But you can go a lot further than that if you want to. It's really just about what it is that you want to invest your time and money into.
Mm-hmm. Goes back to just effort again, right? You just have to put the time in it, or spend it.
It's effort, but it's not just the grind, although it is the grind. It's the thoughtfulness and the effort. That's the care and curation, right? And it's constantly kind of being aware, but it's a thoughtfulness to it as well. And I think that comes back to the curiosity. One of the Patrick, you were at the Sierra Summit last year, first ever Sierra Summit. We hosted it March 4th. Like if we had it the next week, we probably wouldn't have had it. It was right before COVID kind of swept through our country in terms of lockdowns, although it had been making its way throughout the world at that point. At Sierra Summit, we talked about some of this stuff. We talked about SEO. We had one person in particular speak to this, that experientially they've got some backbone to be able to say, this is what's worked for me. And it may not work for everybody, but like his people perk up when you talk about organic leads and success and people that you don't have to pay for. They just find you on Google. That's a really big interest. Just earlier this week, we had a client in Portland, Oregon, who posted in our mastermind group about having generated, it was something like 100 organic leads in 30 days. And he said, this is a big milestone for me. And I think in the comments, he mentioned, look, I'm having to put some money into this. And he's working with a partner on this. And I'm not sure if I can name, so I won't. But he's working with a high-powered partner, to be a couple, I think, even to be able to make this happen. But that's where he's determined that his money and his, in a way, his thoughtfulness, like he's not just throwing money, right?
Sure.
Hopefully we're not just throwing money, but like thoughtfully investing money for a return. And he's starting to see it even now, and he would hopefully be seeing it for many months and years. He's got a long-term goal in mind. So that's a curiosity component though. Like if you see a post like that, are you going to say, why isn't my site doing that? Or are you going to say, what is he doing exactly that might be able to, that I might want or be able to do? And so I think there's just a thoughtfulness and a careful curation of your site that makes it successful.
Simple mindset shift. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Are you seeing, I don't know if you guys get the opportunity to see this on the back end, but inside of Sierra CRM, what kind of conversations do you see? Obviously, we've talked about curiosity a lot, but what kind of conversations, whether they're automated or not, do you see that engage website leads to communicate with the agent?
This isn't necessarily going to be something that I'm going to say is like going to work every time, but it will be helpful, I think, without going into the details for you, is that if you make a phone call, there's a little box in the log call overlay where you can send a follow-up text message. So you call within Sierra with our integrated dialer, you call a lead, they may not answer, right? But there's a little box, so you can set a task and write a note, but there's also a box for send follow-up text message. And sending that text makes you look, this is not any kind of thing from me. This is one of our folks who pointed this out for us. It makes you look not like a bot.
Yeah.
So if you make a call, you can send a follow-up text. I think that will be helpful for you, not necessarily in terms of engagement, but it does make you look like a real person because believe it or not, you actually are, right? You actually are making a call. You're sending that text. You're not a bot, and you want to make sure that everyone knows that, the cell phone companies and your lead. Other than that, I see very interesting things that clients will point out. You may have seen the same kind of stuff, Patrick, but one thing I feel like I've seen more than once that's worked for folks is sending them sending a lead a text once they register that says, "Is this Patrick?" And for whatever reason, it seems like people think that works really well. So you maybe try that out sometime. You get a lead and you just, "Is this Robert?" And apparently that engages quite frequently. Beyond that, there's sometimes other little turns of the phrase. I saw one client point out that they would ask a question like, when are you looking to make a move? And they wouldn't get lots of interest. They started working with one of our partners and the text changed from that to like, when are you looking to buy? And that made a big shift. That was GGMS, their plan that does that. I know that with Hatch Coaching, I know that the plans that Robbie T, that he provides is a lot of GIFs or GIFs. This little side note: my son came into my office of the day and he's 5, and he saw a GIF I had posted internally in Slack, and he said, "What is that video?" I said, "That's a GIF." He said, "A GIF? That's a funny name." I said, "Well, some people call it a GIF."
I think it's also GIF.
Yeah. So. But having something that's kind of fun, right? And that is engaging, and that's the point of that is to try and just get some engagement. And so, I think what you don't want to do is do any kind of deception, right? Trying to get them to respond to you in some kind of a way. I don't see that, but I could see that being something that would be potentially a temptation, right? Just trying to do whatever you can to manipulate a response. Don't manipulate, right? Tell the truth, but also act like a real person. And I think that the more you can craft your messaging, even automated, in such a way that it sounds like a real person wrote it, like you're actually writing as a real person to a real person, the more you're going to get engagement. Because this is just a simple little thing, but just think about what would work on you.
Right.
And not what would work on you is like, let me go advanced level, like I understand human psychology and sales tactics and various things, but like what would work for you as an actual person, What would you, if you think of your you talked about the broker in Atlanta who talked about 10, 10, 80. If you're among the 80% and you're looking for someone who can provide you value and actually sounds like they're interested in what you're really looking for, what kind of message would you write to that person, right?
Yeah.
You're probably asking questions. You're probably saying things like, kind of wondering where they are at in the process. But think about what really you could write to them that would connect on a real human level. And then what is it that you can do to show your expertise? And because that's a big part of what I think somebody will resonate with on the other end of things, like a lead, person who's wanting to buy and or sell a property. They need somebody to help them with that, and that can help leverage, that can leverage their own expertise on behalf of them, right? So how is it that you can show that you actually know what you're doing, right? So I think those are the various things. Make sure that a lead is on a listing alert so that they're getting properties every day. And if they click on that property, it's going to your website. I think that's important. Um, so those are some of the things. Just act like a real person. Treat them as a real person. I think that's a big stuff.
What do you think? And I'm curious to hear your thoughts, because I have an opinion on frequency. And I think in frequency in which you're trying to, obviously reach out and have a conversation. I think that, probably 3 or 4 years ago, before people were automating lead generation at the level they are now, I think frequency is what helped people win. Like, I think that texting them once every day, maybe even twice every day, or calling them once every day for the first 10, 20, 30 days, whatever. I think that's what set people apart. Now that most people are automating lead follow-up, I have this small theory that frequency is actually showing people that it is automated. So too much frequency is disengaging people. What are your thoughts on that? Have you seen any of your guys' clients who have, vocalized that and mastermind or anything where they've said, hey, we've actually backed down in frequency and it's increased conversions? I'm just curious.
I think it's more about two mentalities, frameworks, even worldviews of like, are you going to, hit hard at the beginning with calls and other communications, or are you going to automate the process and maybe let it play out for a long time? And I think those are two different mentalities. And I think both of them are working to engage a lead, right? Like the real win is engagement. I see that people say, even if it's a bad response, it's a response. I mean, you don't want to get bad responses, right? But at least it can help you to understand, like, okay, I know where this person is in the process. I don't necessarily have to concern myself with it as much anymore. So there's more to be said about that particular kind of response. But I just think it's about those two different, right now what I'm seeing is those two different mindsets. And I think that either way, as long as you are a real person, dealing with the person as a real person, it's going to be successful for you. That's what I think. And I think that each person should consider, what is going to make me stand out? So if it's to make it like, what is going to make me look not like a bot, because I'm not a bot. So what's going to make me look not like a bot is a good question to ask. And I think what is going to resonate with people in this kind of world eventually. Right now, like, phone calls are not necessarily the hottest thing. But I think that the phone is really important. And so where it is, and I think everybody thinks that, where you put the phone in the process is an open question. Do you put it right up front? Do you put it after you've done some engagement, etc.? That's an open question. But actually letting yourself as a real person shine through, taking time, taking effort, having courage to pick up the phone and answer the phone is really important, regardless of where you put it in the process. So I'm not in a place where I could say like this one works over the other, because they both work. I'm familiar. I see the success both ways. But I think that what really turns it is, are you a real person that can provide value, expertise to real people? Yeah,
absolutely. I think something just as small as, if you're making a call through your CRM, whether you have a dialer or not, say their name, say their name in their voicemail. Just actually make the call. Maybe don't drop necessarily slide out voicemails. We do that as a part of our campaigns, but we also make sure that if we are calling, we are going to address them by name. That's very personal. Just small things over time like that. Like you said, a real person-to-person connection could make all the difference.
And like in Sierra, what you can do the voicemail drops. You can do them in bulk, but you can also just pre-record voicemails. And so if you maybe aren't the best in the moment and you kind of want to take a second to compose yourself, you can pre-record it and say, okay, Patrick may not answer. Let me take 30 seconds to record this voicemail for Patrick. If he answers, awesome. Like, I'll talk to Patrick. And if he doesn't, I can give him this recorded voicemail that I made just for him just now. Send it, it will go, and then you can move on to your next call. right? So that's particularly nice as you're working through a call list, for example, in Sierra. You can add a bunch of folks to it. You can add them to a call list in the mobile app. It'll dynamically interplay between the web app and the mobile app. And you can set one of those voicemails to go. So whether it's a generic one, which you just mentioned that you wouldn't recommend, and I understand that, or if you just want to pre-record, call us or not, some voicemails that you would leave for someone to make sure you get everything in that you want to get in the way you want to get it in. You can record it in the voice messages manager, drop it, and then you move on.
Yeah, we utilize both. We do both. Yeah, we'll drop pre-recorded voicemails in our action plans that obviously don't address them by name, but however, are very much so related to the email or the text that we had just sent, right? So like we'll send them an email of a buyer's roadmap of what it looks like to purchase a house. And then we'll do a voicemail 15 minutes later, just says, hey, just wanted to let you know, I just shot you that email 15 minutes ago. So it's very interconnected, and they do think it's it's an actual item that we took action on. But then when we're making the manual calls, we are still leaving voicemails and addressing them by name. And I think it's a big piece. And then it might take 7, 8, 9 calls for them to actually engage. And that might take a year. It could take an entire year to convert that lead. So
we do have some data on that, because we, last year we're about to send out an announcement email today around letting folks know that the Haya integration, which is the first of its kind that Haya has done with any CRM, the Haya integration, which provides a branded caller ID for some in leads, particularly those who have AT&T, but there's other folks who are covered as well. So it'll say like, Patrick Keller or whoever that's, calling, if that's what you want for your account. And for folks who don't have your number in their contacts. And what we did last year with Haya was we did a proof of concept trial, and they tracked 60, so this is all dialer numbers within Sierra across the entire platform. They tracked 60,000 calls before they validated the numbers or did branded caller ID, 80,000 calls after. And in that trial, the numbers weren't extravagant. It wasn't like an 85% increase. They were subtle, but when you consider kind of the importance of a phone call, the contact rate and the answer rate, they both went up. Answer rate being like I answered, I could hang up right away. Contact rate meaning we actually have a conversation that lasts more than a little bit of time. Both of those ticked up. And one of the things that we're able to pull from that data, and we need to button this up and share it, because I think it's really actionable. And I think that's one of the values we can provide. And it's our clients, is that when you do call and you keep calling, the answer rate goes up. So like, don't give up after 2 calls and 3 calls and 4 calls. This person didn't answer. Give it 7 or more. They do answer. They actually do. And we see it in the data amongst our clients, not just kind of out there in the big world, like something. Like, it's our clients that we're seeing this with. So keep after it.
And the key would be also, hopefully your number is not saying spam risk or potential spam.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's part of what Haya is able to resolve. That's just part of the stuff that goes on in the big world right now. Like the cell phone carriers are, able to say, hey, this text message or this phone call, we can mark it how it is. And that's one of the things that Haya solves for you, is that it doesn't solve every call to every person that you make, but their market reach, I think it's over 20% in the US. Around 8% in Canada, and so it'll make a difference. And so we're about to roll out that premium integration. We've been in a free trial, but the free trial is about to end. It's a real small monthly cost for it, but it just is the thing that you should do. But my point was, you're right, Patrick. Like, even if it's calls over the course of a while, keep calling, because like, we've got the data that shows that it works.
I called this is just a funny story that agents will relate to. I was cold calling a neighborhood that I had just sold a house in a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And the guy answered, and I always try to address them by name, what it says on the tax record. I wasn't using Sierra, I was using another outbound seller dialer that we have. And he answers, and I said, hey, is this Alan? And he said, yeah, is this spam risk? And I said, oh, is that what it says when I call?
Yeah.
And he said, yes. And I said, no, my name's Patrick. But, I now that I know that, I mean, that's probably why only 9% of the people that I call from that dialer answer.
Right.
And so that's great that you guys are doing that. Even if it makes a small impact, it can really change conversion ratios.
It's the spam risk.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
Get a t-shirt that says that.
Yeah. I am not spam risk.
Yeah. You know what? Let's wrap this up and you just telling us, you told us a lot about Sierra, but if you could talk about Sierra Interactive and what it is and put a bow on it and how people can find out, about you guys, that'd be really helpful.
Sierra Interactive is a company that's going to help you generate, convert, manage, and leads and close more deals. I mean, that's what it comes down to. That's our goal. Our goal is to help you find success. And there's a ton of different options out there and different other services you can cobble together to be able to kind of do what we do. But the value that you get from Sierra, I just don't think can be beat. And what you're going to get in terms of our feature set, both in terms of enhancing existing features and that other pendulum swing of like innovation, doing cutting edge stuff, I think is really a nice reflection of our company. That's what we're about. We are ourselves curious. Like we're constantly in communication with our clients. And I think all the way back to what you said near the beginning, our customer success team is top notch. And we're going to provide you with as much as we can in terms of our reactive support, but also our proactive trainings and various other things that can help you get success with our platform. So we're invested in being a partner with our clients to be able to help them succeed. And that's why we're here. And so if you want to know more about what Sierra does, you can check out our site at sierrainteractive.com, schedule a demo with our sales team, see if it's a good fit for you and your business and your goals. Just when you go into that demo, just be really clear. I mean, back to that, 10-10-80 that you mentioned, just be really clear about what you're wanting to do. And let our team walk through and kind of understand and respond and say, yes, like I think that we're a good fit, or here's how I think we can help you reach your goals through our product, and see if it's a good fit for you. And I'm hopeful that it will be. I know it's been a good fit for you, Patrick.
Yeah. I would say you said it, you can cobble together all these different things. And we were doing that before Sierra, right? So we had a different CRM. We had a different place in which we got leads. And we still invest in leads elsewhere, right? But we were like putting all of these things together. And then we hooked up with Sierra. And the only reason at that time that we hooked up with Sierra was I wanted a website that generated leads. But I still used this other CRM. And I used it for a little while after we had Sierra. And then I realized exactly what you said. Sierra has the most curious mindset I've ever seen in regards to an all-in-one package. And you guys are constantly like implementing things, taking suggestions of users, talking to users. You and I have had conversations where you just want to know how we use Sierra and how it best works for us. And then you guys go and you implement things. And not in a shiny object syndrome type of way though. Like in a real, you guys aren't just like throwing everything out there because it could work. You guys are really,
because we could do that ad nauseum. I mean, it would go on forever.
Yeah. You guys are really asking the people what's working for them or what they might need, and then at a large scale, if that's what you're hearing, you're ready to take and implement those things.
Yeah. And I will say, Patrick, I mean, clients like yourself, I mean, I could list off a long list of clients who I could trust to be able to shoot off an email or even like a Facebook message and say like, hey, talk to me about this, or do you have a few minutes to walk through this, or I want to show off something that's coming, or can I interview about this feature we're building? And like, we have just got some really good and sharp and fantastic clients that we can go to that we trust, that are going to give us genuine good feedback. And it's not always like super happy. Sometimes it's like, this is something that's not great, right? And we know that. Like, it's one of our company values is progress, not perfection. And we're not perfect. There is no perfect necessarily. And not even necessarily, there is no perfect. I'll say it like that. but there's progress. And that's the joy in, it's, you know, the whole cliche about it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Guess what? It's about both. Like we're going to something, but we're enjoying our way there. We're working through the hard things on the way there. And that's going to continue to be a reflection of our company. Progress, not perfection. And it's just ingrained in us. So we're constantly in communication with our clients. We're constantly kind of seeing what's working, what's not. We're looking at the climates and the big picture of what's going on in the industry. And we're working accordingly. And we're doing our best to continue to make tools and make a product that is going to help our clients succeed.
I love it. If you guys are starting a brokerage and you're looking for some core values, still that one right there. Progress, not perfection. That's awesome. Love it. Robert, thanks so much for jumping on. Guys, as he had said, just go to SierraInteractive.com. Check out who they are. Look into a discovery call if you're looking for a website, lead generation, and CRM platform. Thanks again for listening. You guys can subscribe at ReLaunchPodcast.com. You can find us on YouTube and everywhere else that you listen to podcasts. Hope you guys have a successful day. Thanks again, Robert.
Thank you. Thanks, Patrick.